Hey y'all, hey. I'm coming to you today because something near and dear to my heart has been making waves on the social media platforms, boards, and it's got me feeling some kind of way. So I want to get your thoughts on it as being followers of the Cheat the Vegan Scarecrow platform. So I want to discuss the different sides, pro and con, or for or against, because it's a hot topic right now. Whether you either love them, hate them, or don't understand why people are using these things on cruise ships. Let's break it down so that we can discuss the comparisons, truth, and perspective. I did put down notes because, as you can see, most of the times I'm a little scatterbrained and I want my thoughts to be clear on this because it's such a hot topic right now. I'm sitting in the car waiting on my husband. He had a doctor's appointment. Something that's all we do nowadays, go to doctor's appointments, because I had one yesterday with my back surgeon, and today Calvin's got a couple of things going on. I think that's what happens as you age. But the first thing that I want to say, I am a scooter user. So you can probably see what my perspective is on the whole thing. But I was not always a scooter user. The fact that I'm in need of one now is a sore subject with me because it's a part of acceptance of my condition that I haven't quite conquered yet. Even though I was diagnosed back in 2010, I guess I still have a hard time coming to grips with what's going on with my body. Over the years since 2010, there's been a number of occasions where I've needed to have some assistance with walking, or I've had to cancel a number of engagements, appointments, events due to my symptoms acting up. One of the main ones is vacationing and having to walk long distances, or if it's in the summer where most people like to vacation, that doggone PTO, trying to get it right so that you can go out and do things with your family. It's usually during the summertime. That's when most people do that. And if you have kids, that's when school is out. But I'm heat intolerant. And that's one of the symptoms that I suffer from with multiple sclerosis. So if my body overheats, it shuts down. Trying to pick up my legs to move. Trying to do anything. Trying to think. Trying to see. It deteriorates quickly. And I'm unable to function. So I have to use certain things now that I've discovered after much research and doctor's appointments, and I've learned how to make it better or be prepared. And here comes the scooter. My husband, he has been a proponent for years on using scooters because my husband is disabled as well. Not that he uses a scooter, but when he and I met, he was walking with a cane. And praise God, over the years, he's been able to let that go after much exercise and physical therapy and weight loss. Even though he still walks like a penguin, he's able to walk without his cane. However, he's always said, Yolanda, why don't you, when we go grocery shopping, why don't you use a scooter that will help you? For me, that's been a sore subject because nobody wants to be disabled. Nobody wants to have to use a wheelchair. Nobody wants to say that their body is declining. So over the years, even though I was working and things like that, I didn't want to walk with a cane. And I have like the walking poles that you use for hiking. I walk with one of those most of the time because I like that, the height on it, and it makes me feel less disabled. If that makes sense at all. I like walking with it. And it's not something that over the years I thought I needed. However, there's been times when I've had to use a walker. And I was still at work, walking with a walker. I had double vision. And as you can imagine, that's terrible for somebody that works in banking. And you're working on people's loans and their deposit accounts and anything that you may encounter with. I have them in my office. I'm walking with my cane. I'm walking with my walker. But nevertheless, that's what happened. So my husband and I would go on cruising, would go on vacation with the kids. There was once a time that we took the boys to Disney, and I did use a scooter because I knew that there was no way that I would be able to navigate Disney's campus, which you know is large, in that heat without some assistance. So that was the first time that I ever used a scooter. And I'm not such a great driver, so I had no idea what I was doing. It's not like driving a car. I had no kind of skills, no type of preparation beforehand using the scooter. My husband had to help me get in the elevator with it. He's an excellent driver, and he's a professional driver. He drove trucks for years. He had to assist me with that. That was years ago, when the boys were younger. It wasn't that long ago, it seems, but I guess it was. Anyway, fast forward to 2023, where we planned a vacation for my two boys that graduated from high school. I had one that graduated in 2023 and one that graduated in 2022. And we planned a carnival cruise to celebrate their graduation from high school. And it was a family vacation because my niece, she also graduated that year. And so we had a large group that went on the carnival cruise with us, and we sailed out of Charleston, South Carolina, so we could drive to the port. So therefore we got the scooter by the suggestion of my husband, and I finally said yes. and we were able to pick it up and take it in the vehicle, and it worked out perfectly. I'm not really using my notes because I wanted just to talk to y'all, to just tell you how I felt during that time, because I want to talk about how my husband, he had to maneuver, and I realized that the problems that I was having with my walking and the heat, I've also like fainted as a result of being overheated. So finally, I conceded to the fact that I'm handicapped and I'm in need of a scooter. So we took the scooter on with us on the cruise ship, and we let Carnival know, and we were in a regular room. We were able to put the scooter in the corner or under the bed. I'll show you pictures here of me being on the scooter on that cruise ship. I realized that the whole time trying to get in the elevator with people being there, I did not know how to maneuver that scooter like I should, because there's no class saying, hey, this is how you do this thing. I know the associate at where we always rent these scooters from, he told me do this, do that, yada, yada, yada. And for most people, that would be enough. For me, it wasn't. So I used a scooter, and I was apologizing the entire time on the cruise. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Watch your toes. I'm not trying to run you over. Beep, beep, beep. I never left my scooter out in the hallway. I never ran over anybody's toes. I always felt guilty and my handicap enough to be on this scooter. How handicapped do you have to be? I don't know if everybody feels this way, if it was just me, but I feel guilty about using the devices that I've used. I would never thought that, okay, I'm not blind, I'm not paralyzed, I could go over a number of disabilities that I felt like I wasn't disabled enough to use these things. But as time has gone on, I had to let that go. That's part of accepting your disability, because you have to, at some point, say you're disabled. You're in need of assistance. You require accessibility, and not feel guilty about it. I understand the frustration of some people as they discuss cruising with others on scooters. You have people leaving their cars in the hallway. You have people running over others, going too fast, having issues where they think that they should go first. One thing I will say about that is I would make a point of allowing people to go on before me. Go ahead, I'm on the scooter. It's going to take forever. Just go ahead, go. And my husband had to tell me, look, I'm not standing out here any longer. I'm holding this elevator. You get on here so we can go to where we need to go. Because I felt guilty about being on a scooter. And I remember when we were on a Virgin Voyage cruise and we went to Bimini. And I have it in my video somewhere. I'll try to enter a clip. But when the tram came to Bimini, I had to be in the front of the tram so they could hook the scooter up. But everybody would run to get on the tram, and they would get in the front and fill in. Even though I'm sitting there on the scooter, I guess they maybe thought that, or they never even thought about how I'm going to get on this tram. So I had to sit there for the longest, waiting for assistance, for people to hold on. My husband left me in a hot car and didn't even ask me if I wanted the air on. I mean, I could cut it back on, but I gotta get out and go to the other side of the car. Anyway, question. Have you ever looked at someone on a scooter and thought that they don't need that scooter? Why are they on it? Or if they lost some weight, they'd be able to walk? Everybody's disability is not visible. That's something that I've suffered with in the past. I too have had those thoughts. I call it my youthful ignorance. Because I thought that all disabilities were visible. I could look at somebody and see that they were blind, or that they had walking issues, or they were, walking with a stick, or they were old. I think about my son. Something that stands out in my head. He was diagnosed with cancer when he was 18, after he had just graduated from high school. And he passed away in January 2023. Throughout it all, he was so brave and strong. You never would have looked at him if he hadn't lost his hair during chemo, or now that I see him. I look back at videos that I recorded and I can see the decline. But it's so funny, during out it all, I never saw it. It never occurred to me once that he was dying. We won't talk about that now. But I remember when we went on that Virgin Voyages cruise, and I was using the scooter, and a sweet lady, she asked me why was I on the scooter. And I told her, and I imagine many people were looking at me thinking, she's overweight. She's another fat girl that's ravaging her body to the point where it's breaking down on her and she can't even walk around a cruise ship. I'm not saying that there's not people that are overweight that don't use scooters. And being overweight, y'all, that's a disability. It is. Whether you think it's right or not, that's not for me to say. But if they need to use a scooter, so be it. They paid their money for that cruise just like you. But back to that same woman. She was a caregiver for a man that had been in a horrific accident that robbed him of his ability to be able to walk steadily. And talk. However, I'm sure that he felt inside, because there's a preconception that people that are disabled have become useless. They are a hindrance to society, or they need to just get out of the way, leave the world to able-bodied people. And I noticed with him on the cruise ship, he was just such a blessing to me. And he was an able-bodied, well-toned, tanned, tatted up young man, very handsome. And he would do handstands on the lounge chairs, just showing everybody that he was not useless. And he had cards that he would send out and introduce himself, who he was and what happened to him and the things that he could do. And he and the lady that I met spent their time traveling the world. Why not? Why shouldn't they? That's what me and my husband want to do. Now that we've gotten to the point where life is short, life is fleeting. I don't know if this is a way for me to act out as a result of my son not being here anymore. That's part of my grieving. I retired early from work. He disabled. I'm disabled. We know that life is short. Why shouldn't we enjoy life? Why shouldn't we be able to go on cruises? Why shouldn't we be able to go on vacations and use a scooter or whatever is available to us to be able to enjoy life? That's everybody's God-given right. He said for us to live life and live it. He gave us life and to live it more abundantly. Forgive me for misquoting the scripture. I'll try to input it in here somewhere, the correct way of saying it. But how are we supposed to go and spread his word if we don't go? What has happened to the world where there's no common decency for your fellow man? I read some of the boards on Facebook. I was on something for the Carnival celebration, I think. And there was a board about scooters on cruise ships. And most people were ranting and raving about how they hate them. And then there's some people that are saying, there's no other way for my mother to be able to enjoy a cruise. She can't walk all over that Carnival celebration. I know able-bodied people that say that it wears them out. I would love to be able to walk around the Carnival celebration. I would love being able to walk up the stairs to get in my room instead of taking the elevator after I had sat there for, I can't tell you how long, trying to get an elevator. But because I was on a scooter, I couldn't get on. If I was just standing and walking, it would not have been an issue. But there was no room for the scooter. And finally, my husband had to hold the elevator and say, look, she needs to get on the elevator so we can go to our room. What's happening, y'all? Thank God for the Americans with Disabilities Act that was passed that gives people with disabilities the right to be able to have accessibility to cruise ships, staterooms, the pool, the elevator, wheelchairs, motorized mobility devices. You should be allowed. Let's not forget that trying to get on the elevator with a scooter is a challenge in itself. So many people ignore, cut in front, push past someone on the scooter. Have you ever experienced that? I've noticed since I've had to use mobility devices that people don't value my opinion. I must say, I've always been sort of a recluse. I wasn't very outspoken. That was just me. However, I noticed that people would talk over me once they knew I was disabled. And I do that air quotes because I say that because that doesn't make me less of a person. That doesn't mean that I can't think, that I can't add value. Y'all, what's the solution? It's not about blaming either side. You like them, you don't like them. You need them, you don't need them. It's all about awareness and compassion. For all those using scooters, please be mindful. Park responsibly. Learn how to maneuver that scooter safely. Be courteous in tight spaces. That's not too much to ask. Because you have that right doesn't give you a privilege to be a butthole about it. I don't know any way of putting it up better. Be courteous, y'all. And for everybody else, understand that not every disability is visible. Show some patience. If you don't mind, hold the elevator. Those people need to get to their dinner just like you. They need to get to your room. Well, they need to get to their room or a room or wherever they're going. They feel the same urgency that you feel. They got appointments. They got reservations for the show. They want to get there too. And it's going to take longer because they're on a scooter. Y'all, treat everybody with empathy and respect. That's not too much to ask. Be kind. That's one of my favorite shirts that I have. Be kind. Everybody knows the golden rule. Treat others as you would want to be treated. Because I pray to God that that doesn't happen to you, where it comes down that you one day need assistance from a stranger. Show some kindness, and Lord willing, that kindness will be given to you as well. So what do you think? Have you experienced this on a cruise? Let's talk in the comments. Leave me a message and let me know if you are a scooter user or no. Are you a wheelchair user? Do you walk with a cane? Or you just walk unassisted? Let me know. Do you have a loved one that requires assistance? Let me know down in the comments. If you would like this video, subscribe, share if you believe in accessible travel for everyone. That is my point of having this platform, y'all. I'm the cheating vegan scarecrow. I like to go out and eat food. I like to travel. I like to live. And I want others to know that they can too. Even if you've never done it before, even if you think that it's unavailable to you, I'm here to tell you that it is available. Reach out to me and let me know if I can assist you in any way. If you have issues with mobility and you think you can't travel, I'm here to tell you that you can. And if you need help with that, send me a message in the comments below or send an email to travelwyolanda@gmail.com. I will do my best to give you the greatest memories that you can imagine through travel.